He was the secret handshake master for my nephews, for my niece. He would take her to the father-daughter dances. For my daughter, who's a gymnast, he would show up at her competitions and scream like a little boy on the sidelines. He gave a friend a ride. Dante was not the target, and over 30 bullets were fired into the car, 8 of them hitting Dante.
So Naeem was a character. He was the comedian of the family. He was a selfless person who was always giving. He was shot on July 4th of 2017 and died on July 5th, 2017. Who makes funeral arrangements for their child? I should not have had to do this. No one should have to do this.
Her son was killed in her living room. Every morning she's got to get up, walk down the stairs into the same place where she found her son 3 years ago. I just don't know how she does it.
Laura Madeline is the founder and curator of the Souls Shot Portrait Project.
I'm not a marcher, I'm not, a big protester. And as an artist, this was something I could do to make a difference, hopefully. I was asked to curate an exhibition in support of a group called Heeding God's Call to End Gun Violence, and got this idea of having artists actually meet families and friends of victims of gun violence and get to know who the person was and really focus on their lives and create a portrait.
It's so pretty.
You walk over to it, you. Oh, I guess, huh?
It's really hard.
I'm glad you're going to be able to take it home with you at some point.
And this was such a special day. It was actually, the picture was taken in my backyard. And she's pregnant here. Dante was killed on the day that they brought Soraya home from the hospital. So they were never all together as a family.
Today when Cherie walked in, I think y'all met for the first time, she looked at the artwork, what does that mean to you? Like, how does that affect you?
It means a lot. Actually, I was saying earlier to you how I kind of keep it together. I was a nurse in the past, and seeing Cherie see it for the first time and having her talk about Dante, it was a little tough for me today.
Brian Smith has participated in the Souls Shot Project since its inception.
I'd like to paint the energy of a person more so than a realistic representation of them.
What kind of energy did you get off of Quentin?
He was a fun-loving human being. From what his mother tells me, he always went out of his way to make his family laugh. He was incredibly kind and charitable. In this photo of him particularly that I based the photo off of, there's a very serious, somber look that I feel like he's giving. And I felt like he was a man who lived by his own code about taking care of his family, his 3 children, and bringing light and love everywhere he went. And I wanted to use color and the style and design to bring that energy, bring that to life.
Why did you get involved with this project?
Well, being an artist is one thing to do art for yourself. It's very calming and things like that, but it's a whole nother thing to do it for a cause. So I wanted to be a part of this because it's one thing for people to lose their lives and to hear their names, but when you see their pictures in an artful way, it's much more impactful. So I chose the medium to use charcoal and graphite because it's natural, and I just wanted to bring the essence of this is an actual person that lost their life. This was an unnatural circumstance.
How do you not get emotionally messed up I know that's probably not the best English for that question, but
I don't think you cannot be emotionally messed up when you're doing something like this, because the whole time when I'm drawing it, I have to reflect on that. Like, I have to put, some emotion has to go into the piece, so I had to go there. Like, I think about his mother and think about this young man, think about his son, you know, and just like what Ms. Kamara was saying, the impact on not just them, but there's a bunch of people outside of that also, including myself, who was affected by his death.
It was a really emotional piece to work on. It was hard. Sometimes it's like I didn't want to work on it, right? It was just too much to take in all the time.
talk a little bit about your piece, because your piece is not the run-of-the-mill mural.
No, it isn't. It's got kind of two sides to it. So the shut side is a little more somber, and I built the box itself and painted it to look distressed and old. But that's all based off of a 15th century altarpiece from Spain, because Spain was someplace that Shelton Hayes wanted to go to. But then when you open it up, it's like this explosion of life with all the butterflies, right? And it says who Shelton was. He's a son, a brother, a father, family, friend, lover. And so these butterflies are that idea of all his friends coming up who wanted to meet him. The black butterfly at the top, that's Shelton.
It's important to humanize the victims, that these people are more than statistics. They're more than political pawns. They were sons, brothers, fathers. And just because they're gone doesn't mean that they're not that anymore.
Do you ever look at the news and think to yourself, damn, I wonder if that might be my next subject?
You know what? I don't think about it being my next subject per se, but I do think about at some point that there will not be enough walls or enough places to put these pictures because of how many lives have been lost.
What do you hope that your involvement in this project does for this issue?
I hope it brings people to the awareness of the violence that guns create within our city, and the lives it tears apart.
What Soul Shot is doing is kind of yelling from the rooftop, look what we're losing. Look what's happening out there.
This was your first time seeing this portrait in person.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? I mean, let alone just seeing Dante's portrait, but we're in this room, it's like 30-something portraits in here.
I can't stop looking at the portraits because this ugly cry. I know that each of these families is feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And my family and Dante's family is feeling.
Your heart is forever shattered. It's a never-ending emotional roller coaster. No one deserves to be on this ride.
Like, how is this possible? What is it gonna be next year? All children on these walls? Like, it's so scary. And I'm wondering when people are gonna start to listen. What is it gonna take? How many more people have to die?